is that I want to warn you about life. How so? Well, life is filled with peaks and valleys. That's kind of how it works. If you look on your worship folder this morning, some of you grabbed a worship folder on the way in, you'll see there's a map on the front with a mountain range and a valley. Some of you who are nerdy like me will recognize that's a map of Middle Earth, the mountains. Okay, there's a few nerds right there. But no, that's life. And especially as we see, sometimes there are these really high points and these peaks and these moments where we're on top of the world. And I want to warn you, sometimes they're followed by really low times. If you don't believe me, take a look at Jesus. Jesus goes to the Jordan River. John the Baptist sees him and he says, there he is, the Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world. And he goes and he baptizes Jesus, and there the Spirit like a dove comes and rests on him, and the Father says, this is my Son with whom I am well pleased. I mean, it's such a big deal, like the whole Trinity shows up for Jesus' baptism. Mountaintop. The Spirit sent him to the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights without food. He's tempted. So I want to warn you today as we look at mountaintops and valleys, and we see Noah's life, and we see that it's one that's filled with some great mountaintops with some very low valleys. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. The other thing today that I really want you to get with me is the art of finishing well. It's so important that we finish well. And if you're like me, you're really good at starting stuff. Right? Like you've got a project at home, you're like, I'm going to do this. And you get everything, you get like, I'm going to do this, I got it all figured out, and you start on it. You start gung-ho. And then maybe not so gung-ho the next weekend because you're sore from work and you're not. And then the next weekend, I should really get to that. It's not quite done yet. We don't finish well a lot of times. And I want to encourage you to finish well. And as we look at Noah's life, unfortunately, it doesn't finish so well. So I gave you all a warning last week, but this is kind of like a PG-13 chapter, right? And if some of you read it, you saw why. Noah's kind of things happen. We're gonna read through it and we're gonna talk about it. We're all grown-ups here, so we're gonna talk about what goes on in Genesis chapter 9, verses 1 through 29. If you'd like, you can read along with me, and follow in your own Bibles. By the way, if you're new here, you don't have a Bible, please take one. There's lots of them around here, underneath the chair. So we would love you to go home with a Bible. If you don't have one, you should. It's a really good book. I mean, it's the good book. So grab one. So we're going to read through Genesis chapter 9, verses 1 through 29. Follow along with me in your Bibles or read it on this one. Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will fall upon all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds of the air, upon every creature that moves along the ground. And upon all the fish of the sea, they are given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants now, I give you everything. But you must not eat meat that hath lifeblood in it. And for your lifeblood I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal, and from each man too. I will demand an accounting for the life of his fellow man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made man. As for you, be fruitful and increase in number. Multiply on the earth and increase upon it. And God said to Noah and to his sons with them, I now establish my covenant with you, and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I will establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, this is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all the generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring the clouds over the earth, Never again. The waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth. So God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all life on the earth. The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them came the people who were scattered over the earth. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness, told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backwards and covered their father's nakedness. Their faces were turned the other way, so that they would not see their father's nakedness. When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers. He also said, blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend the territory of Japheth. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his slave. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. Altogether, Noah lived 950 years, and then he died. So, our story starts, and Noah is finally off the ark. It's been a long 387 days. He's off the ark, and God blesses Noah as he gets off the ark. He blesses him, and he says to him, be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the earth. This is kind of a repeat blessing, by the way. Matter of fact, you go back to Adam and Eve. That's the first thing he says to Adam and Eve. He says, listen, guys, be fruitful, multiply, increase in number. His rules, his laws, his commands to us, they don't change. They're the same, because God is the same. And here he says, listen, you've got a job to do. He started all over. Noah, I chose you. You are a righteous man in this generation. The whole world had just gone to pot. It was no good. But Noah, I picked you and your family, and we're starting over. We're going to start with a righteous generation. So what I want you to do is fill the earth and everything on it. He goes on and he says that the fear and the dread of you will fall upon the beasts of the earth and all the birds of the air, upon every creature that moves along the ground, and upon the fish of the sea. They are given into your hands. Here is a change at the flood. The animals no longer want to just hang. Right? If you remember Adam and Eve, Adam, the animals came by him and they kind of, I imagine this like a line of animals that goes around the building, it's really, they're all waiting and there's Eve's up there at the bounce. Maybe, but there's this line of animals there and they're coming by and Adam's going, okay, you're an alligator. That's what I'm going to call you. And you're a tiger. Ask yourself, would you really want an alligator or a tiger walking in front of you? No. We don't like them too much, and they don't like us. And at this point, see, the animals in creation was all in harmony with Adam and Eve. There was great harmony, and now it's not the case. Now, animals don't like people. And it reminds me when I was a little kid, we first moved to the Portland area, we lived in this little town called Battleground, and I had this long walk down a trail through the woods to the bus stop. And I'd go down to the bus stop every day, and I'd have my stick with me, because if you're a little kid, you like having a stick to whack and go with. That's just part of being 8 years old. Some of you 8-year-olds are going, yes, that's right. But no, I'd like go down and I'd take my stick down with me and leave it down by the bus stop and grab it, throw my stick. And one day I was walking down there and I saw a possum. It's like the first time I'd ever seen a possum in real life. And for those of you who've seen possums, they're not incredibly quick animals. They're kind of slow. So I ran up to this possum to check it out, and it went. It did. It just totally went. It stiffened up, and then it just fell over. And I went, wow, that's why they call it playing possum. So I come down, and I get really close to possums. It's right here. And I'm looking at it, and it's just not moving. It's right there. It's so cool. And I got my stick. Tap, tap. It's not moving. It's right there. It's still laying right there, not doing anything. This is so cool. My first awesome. So I'm gonna poke it. And it turns and looks at me and goes, and I jump back. Whoa! Wasn't expecting that from a little guy. And then he ran off. Ooh, I'm glad. Yeah, there's this animosity between mankind and animals don't like to be poked with sticks. That you can file that away free of charge. That's totally bonus for the service today. But really, there's this animosity between mankind and animals that never existed before that exists now. But there's more to it as well. And this is maybe part of why there's that animosity there. In verse 3 it says, everything that lives and moves will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. So, dietary changes are what's happening here. When the garden was first created, when God set Adam and Eve in there, his command to them is you can eat from any tree or any plant anywhere in the garden, except for that one tree. Stay away from that. But all the others, so it was a vegetarian diet. I mean, they ate all the fruits and the vegetables, and it was this very healthy vegetarian diet. Now, if there is one thing about a global, catastrophic, cataclysmic flood that we can be thankful for, it's a good T-bone steak. Right? Because up till then, you didn't eat meat, right? So, there you go. Thank you, Jesus. Pork chops, bacon, steak. It's all on the table now. There's no restrictions. You can eat anything, is what God says. But there's one rule. Verse 4 says that you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. In other words, you gotta bleed it. Don't just, and that's important. For those of you who are hunters know it's important. When you shoot an animal, you gotta bleed it. You gotta cut that throat and hang it and let all that blood. Some of you are going, oh, stop. But really, it's important. If you don't, the meat spoils like that. And if it's toxic and it's sick, it's bad stuff, right? So he says you've got to drain the life. So there's a health reason behind it, but also more than that, he says there's something that's important about lifeblood. We see that in verse 5. And for your lifeblood, I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal and from each man too. I will demand an accounting for the life of his fellow man. And here's the rule that God sets up. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For the image of God has God made man. This is really the creation of the institution of government. God says, listen guys, we need a rule. We need one rule for like everybody. And we need to know this. There's one rule. It's an important rule. Don't murder. If you murder someone, your life is forfeit. We're talking about death penalty here, right? That's what it says. It says, whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. Now, I don't know where you stand on the death penalty. Some of you are probably really in favor of it. Some of you are probably really against it. Either way, I want you to know that the Bible seems to say that if someone is a murderer, their life is forfeit. And I go, Matt, I don't like that. That's okay. If you don't have any problem with me, it's the book that says that, so that's on you. But really, and did you notice why? This is important. It's not that if you murder someone, your life is forfeit because it's morally wrong, or because it's really mean, or you shouldn't do that, or because people should be. It's not what it is. See what he says? He says that whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God has God made man. We are made in the image of God. The ultimate sin against the Creator is destroying His image. I mean, it's such a great sin that it made it into the Big Ten. Right? Ten Commandments, Exodus chapter 20. Thou shalt not create any graven images. God says, don't make any images. Well, how come? Because He already did. He made His image. It's you, me. We're created in His image. And being created in His image gives us intrinsic value. You understand that? Want to know why you're so special and you're so wonderful? Because you are. Here's why. God made you like Him. In His image. That's where we get our value. And God said, you can't destroy that image. There's a penalty for it. Well, He goes on and He says, as for you, be fruitful and increase in number and multiply on the earth and increase upon it. There we go. Here's the same command again. Just in case you weren't listening the first time, be fruitful and increase. I want you to fill the earth up. And then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you. God is getting ready to make a covenant with them. And verse 10 goes on, all the creatures and the birds and the livestock, everything, all the living stuff. I make my covenant with you. Never again will all life be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. Okay, and then the next paragraph, you see the word covenant comes up in 5 or 6 minutes. Covenant. And you know what? We don't do a lot of covenants. I mean, that's really a church word. I mean, the only covenant that you might maybe run into fairly regularly is like your covenant restrictions in your neighborhood. You've got those, right? I've got those. And they're sneakers in my neighborhood. I mean, it was a Saturday one day, and I was doing the lawn and everything, and I pulled out my trash can and put my lawn clippings in, because that's where I put them. And I mowed the front, did everything, it was all done. And instead of taking my can all the way to the backyard, I snuck it around in front of my Tahoe and just put it kind of there. My Tahoe was parked in front of me, so I couldn't really see it. It wasn't really there. And it was a Saturday, and I went and I had to run some errands, and I was gone for a couple hours. And I come back and park in front of my trash can. There's this nasty note on my door that says, all trash receptacles must be stored out of sight. This is a warning. And I thought, well, what about the guy who leaves them out all week across the street from me? How come they're picking on me? I just had a couple hours, really? I know it's a day early, but come on, I mean, that's the first thing we do when we break a rule. I'm not a bad standard, right? That's what we do. It's called blame shifting. Some people develop it to a great art. But really, that covenant, see, there's a covenant that I've made with my homeowners association. And here's what the covenant looks like. I promise to mow my lawn and keep it free of weeds, and not to have broken down cars in my driveway. And that's my part of the deal. And then they have their part of the deal. They agree that they're going to keep the streets clean and the sidewalks in good working order, that they're going to keep all of the plants and the trees that are common ground, they're going to keep that all manicured, and they're going to plant flowers every spring, and it's going to be really pretty when you pull in there, and they're going to provide irrigation for us, and all of this stuff. So there's their part and my part, right? And that's a covenant. It's a legal binding agreement. So here God makes a covenant with Noah and all the creatures of the earth, but it's a little different than that. Take a look at it. He says, God said that never again will all life be cut off by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. This kind of covenant is called a royal grant. A royal grant. It's just one person acting unilaterally. And there's no stipulations to it. In other words, there's nothing that Noah has to do in order for God to do his part. God does this. He decrees this, not because of who Noah is and what he does, but because of who he is, because of his character. He said, that's why I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because of me, not because of you. And he makes this covenant, and he says that, and God said, this is the sign of the covenant I'm making between me and you and every living creature, with you a covenant for all generations to come. I have sent my rainbow in the clouds. It will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. It's the first mention of the rainbow. his first rainbow ever, right here, that we see. And it's, we like rainbows, those dogs, those happy things. Unicorns, yes. Rainbows and unicorns, they just go together, right? Let's not mention that. The rainbow. This is the first time we see the rainbow, and you want to know something really interesting? This passage is the only place in the entire Hebrew Bible where this word is translated as rainbow. Everywhere else, it's translated as bow, as in a warrior's weapon. Everywhere else it's translated. So what is God saying? He doesn't smile at the rainbow. No, he's saying here to Noah, to his family, that listen, I'm hanging my bow up. The war is over. I'm done fighting with you. There will be peace between me and the earth. I'm not going to do it. And every time it starts to rain, I'm going to see my bow hanging there, and I'm going to go, you know what? It's going to rain just a little bit. Not too much. Not like before. That's this covenant that God makes with Noah. He makes this royal decree, this royal grant, this unilateral covenant, and by putting his bow in the sky, he says, listen, the war's over. There's no more fighting. Well, man, that's good stuff. And if you think about it, Noah went through all this crazy stuff for 387 days. It smelled like animals on the ark. I'm sure it was kind of a drag. And, seasick, I'm sure. All that stuff comes out. God blesses him. God says, listen, you can eat steak now. As good as it gets. Right? You can do all this. And I'm blessing you, and I'm never going to do this again. Man. Mountaintop experience for Noah. And then we read on. It says, the sons of Noah came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham, the father of Canaan. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them came the people who were scattered over the earth. So this is repopulation time. And remember, God chose Noah, a righteous man in his generation, and God says, let's start over. We're wiping the slate clean, and we're going to start with righteous people this time, because the world was so corrupt. And so we've got this righteous family and people, and it's a do-over, right? It's a mulligan. God's saying, I'm going to start over again, and it's going to be right this time. And then verse 20, Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. So, Noah plants a vineyard, and then he drinks some wine, and then he gets drunk and naked. It happens. Yeah. Those things actually, lots of times, it logically follows. And here, it's interesting here. He gets drunk and that's the story. It's like you saw his fault, but it doesn't talk about it. That's what happened. Noah got, who knows? Hold on. Yeah. Off the ark. I don't know what was going through his head. I want you to pay attention to something. This is the first instance we see anywhere in the Bible about wine or drinking. And it's not the most positive context. Right? There's a warning built in here. Firsts are very important in the Bible. When you see the first anything there, it's usually establishing a pattern, or it's establishing a general consensus on that topic. And here we have wine and drinking, and it's not so good, right? It leads to drunk and naked. There's like this warning built in. Now, so you say, man, none of us should ever drink anything. That's not what I'm saying. If you want to have a glass of wine with dinner, that's perfectly acceptable. Jesus did, right? He drank wine. It's perfectly acceptable, unless, of course, you're a drug addict or an alcoholic, in which case, don't have a glass of wine. And kids, those of you who are kids and under, if you're old enough to drink a glass of wine legally, okay, that's okay. Right? So I think I've covered all my cases. I shouldn't get easy. Yeah, good. So, But the warning is pay attention, because it leads to bad stuff, right? Yeah, it leads to Ephesians 5 says, don't get drunk with wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead of be filled with the Spirit, I love that debauchery. What's debauchery? Oh, it's bad. I don't know what it is. Debauchery isn't good. It leads to debauchery. Instead of be filled with the Spirit. That's what Paul is in Ephesians. But he says, listen, not so good. And it gets worse, right? Not only does Noah get drunk and naked, and then one of his kids walks in and goes, oh, check out that. And he posts on Instagram and Facebook, takes a picture. So, not really. They didn't have Instagram back then. But really, there's like this major impropriety. Now, here's the question. Exactly what does it mean when it says he saw his father's nakedness? Well, it could just mean that he saw his father's nakedness. It's possible that it means something else kind of bad happened there. There was like some kind of improper conduct. I don't really know. Some commentators think there was really bad stuff that happened here. Others say, no, he just saw him naked, that's bad enough. Which one is it? Flip a coin. I don't know. The point is, it's bad. Okay, what Ham has done is bad. And he goes in and sees his father's nakedness, and then he goes outside and he brags to his brothers. And then verse 23, but Shem and Japheth took the garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backwards and covered their father's nakedness. Their faces were turned the other way so that they would not see their father's nakedness. So Shem and Japheth do the right thing. Okay, Dad's drunk, naked, and passed out. Let's go put a blanket on Dad. So he wakes up from his bender. It's not like, what's that? So he goes, they go in there and they do that. And then it says next, when Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, cursed be Ham. No, wait. Cursed be Canaan. Well, Canaan is the thing. Verse 22, Ham, the father of Canaan. So, well, what's the deal here? It's not very fair. How come Canaan is the bad rap here? God is saying something important here. The curse became the lowest of the slaves will he be to his brothers. He's looking at Ham, his son, and he goes, you know what? This is where this originated from. You're going to have a kid that's just like you. Parents ever say that to you? I hope you have a kid just like me. Right? That's where it comes from. Oh, buddy, Ham, Canaan is going to be, oh, man. You think you did with bad? Just wait. Really? That's what he does. And it's interesting because historically, the Canaanites, bad stuff. I mean, you can't talk about the religious practices of the Canaanites without getting a little red in the ears. I mean, really. They did stuff that would make Vegas blush. Really. Bad stuff. And so, what Noah is saying here is, listen, Ham, your boy's watching, and he's learning from you, and he's going to be just like him. Because of that person is Canaan. The lowest of slaves will be to his brothers. He also said, blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend the territory of Japheth. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem. And may Canaan be his slave. So, Canaan, you're cursed. Shem, Japheth, you're blessed. Shem, especially blessed. Shem, he was the father of the Shemites. It's where we get the modern term Semites, or Semitic people. These are the Jewish people that came from Shem. In Canaan, they lived in that Canaan land, the Palestine, which is actually just a corruption of the word for Philistine. So for those people, if you know anything about the Philistines, they were great. So You know, Noah, he was a righteous man in a really rough generation. And he started so well. And he made it on the ark, and he was so good. And he listened to God, and he came out and he gave an offering to God. And he did the right thing. And then he made one decision, and it undid. It reminds me of a story of a boy who grew up in California. He was raised in a devout Quaker family. Some of you don't know anything about Quakers other than the okay. But it's a religious order. It's a religious denomination. And they're very, very devout. And they're also pacifists. They don't believe in war. They are just like overflowing with love. And Quakers are wonderful, wonderful people. And this boy was raised a Quaker. And he was a middle brother of a family. And his father owned a farm with a lemon grove on it. They were lemon farmers. What they did, they grew lemons. And early in this boy's life, a tragedy hit the family. His younger brother died after a very quick illness. He was just gone. And then a few years later, as he's entering into high school, his older brother got tuberculosis and died. And so this little family of farmers in California had faced some serious tragedy. But this young man, he didn't let that stop him. Nor did it affect his faith. And he went on, and he went to school, and he excelled in school. He was an excellent student. He finished second in his class. And he even got a scholarship to Harvard. But missing two brothers, he couldn't go. He had to stay home, and he did. He did his duty as his son. He stayed home with the farm, Dad. Finally, the farm went. This young man finally left, went to college. He went to Duke. Then he earned a law degree at Duke. And he finished with great honors. And then he came back to California. He worked as a small town lawyer. And after a while, he just thought, there's got to be more in life than this. My life needs to mean something. I need to really be of service to people. And at that time, World War II was going strong. Even though he was a Quaker, raised a Quaker, a pacifist, he said, I need to go be there for my country. He enlisted in the Navy voluntarily. He could have been exempt. He went and enlisted. He felt so strong about it. He served in the Navy. He was so smart. They had him doing administrative stuff. They didn't want him on the front lines. And he served faithfully throughout the Second World War. And then he got back from the war. And man, he had such a full life already, overcoming so much from the loss of his brothers and sticking with his faith and growing and going to college and becoming a lawyer and then serving his country. And some friends from his former law school came to him and said, listen, you know what? We think you should run for Congress. There's a group of us that we've seen your character and we see the kind of man that you are, and we would support you as a congressman. So he ran. He won. He unseated the incumbent. Now, he was truly serving the people. What he always wanted to do, all along, was make the world a better place. Serve. Later on, people noticed how quickly this young man rose and how great he was. And he was just solid. And his name started being tossed around in the upcoming election as a vice president. He ran as a vice president. He ended up being Eisenhower's vice president. And then, after Eisenhower, he ran for office, and he was defeated by John Kennedy. He was defeated, but not dead. He ran again. He was successful. Richard Milhouse Nixon had finally become the President of the United States. He had finally achieved the ultimate goal. serving others by being the president. And then he came to his second term, his re-election bid, and he made a bad decision. A truly bad decision at Watergate. And then this happened.
Good evening. This is the 37th time I have spoken to you from this office, where so many decisions have been made that shape the history of this nation. Each time I have done so to discuss with you some matter that I believe affected the national interest. In all the decisions I have made in my public life, I have always tried to do what was best for the nation. Throughout the long and difficult period of Watergate, I have felt it was my duty to persevere, to make every possible effort to complete the term of office to which you elected. In the past few days, however, it has become evident to me that I no longer have a strong enough political base in the Congress to justify continuing that effort. I would have preferred to carry through to the finish, whatever the personal agony it would have involved. And my family unanimously urged me to do so. But the interests of the nation must always come before any personal considerations. From the discussions I have had with congressional and other leaders, I have concluded that because of the Watergate matter, I might not have the support of the Congress that I would consider necessary to back the very difficult decisions and carry out the duties of this office the way the interests of the nation require. I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first. America needs a full-time president and a full-time Congress, particularly at this time with problems we face at home and abroad. To continue to fight through the months ahead for my personal vindication would almost totally absorb the time and attention of both the President and the Congress in a period when our entire focus should be on the great issues of peace abroad and prosperity without inflation at home. Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
A historic blunder. A big mistake. The only president ever in the history of our country to resign. He did so well until then. He brought our troops home from Vietnam. I mean, he did a lot of great stuff. And then he fell from grace. My encouragement to you today is to finish strong, is to continue to make the right. It's really easy to start something. It's really easy to get a look. It's hard to finish strong. It really is, but I want you to know that if you finish strong, man, what a testimony, witness. I'm reminded of my friend Dorothy. A lot of you know Dorothy is at home right now, Dorothy Dean, and she's on hospice care. And I've gone in, I try and go there every week and visit her because she's such a wonderful woman. And I don't have the opportunity to talk to someone with such a founded and strong faith as Dorothy that they go through this difficult time. And so I've been really frank with her as I've talked with her. And I asked her the first time I went to visit her, I said, what's it like, Dorothy, to hear the words of hospice? That you're in hospice care? And she just looked at me and she said, God has brought me this far, and He will bring me through to the end. I trust Him. Friends, that is finishing strong. That is an amazing testimony. It encourages me, and I hope it encourages you as well to finish strong. Don't let that last minute slip up happen and train wreck the legacy that God is building through you right now. Well, we learned some heavy lessons from Noah this week. Ooh, we see God's blessing. God hanging up His bow. God ending the war with us. And I want you to know that He ended it with us, that He said no more flood. That's not going to happen. But He did even more to end that war. He did. Because things still weren't right. Sin was still in the world. And you saw that, right? Noah got off the ark. And God had yet to address the true problem, which is our brokenness. But He did. He sent His Son. He sent Jesus Christ. Very God, very man. He sent His Son, and His Son went to a cross. Remember, I talked about John the Baptist said, there He is, the Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world. That's what Jesus did on the cross. He died as that sacrificial lamb for us, for our sin, for our wrong, so that we could be right with God. And I want you to know that I know not all of you are followers of Jesus Christ yet. Today, right now, you have an opportunity for the war to be over. You do. You have an opportunity for new life in Jesus Christ. And it's as simple as a prayer. Turning your life over to Him. So I want to give you the opportunity to respond right now. So would you bow your head, please? Let's pray. Father God, I thank you so much for today. I thank you just for the opportunity to hear the warnings that your word gives us. Father, it's our heart and our prayer today that we do finish strong. God, I know there are people here today that have yet to place their faith in you. And as they've sat and they've listened, they want to finish strong. They want the war to be over. They want a true connection with you. Forgiveness, acceptance, redemption. That's what they seek with their whole hearts. And if you're in that place today, God is speaking to you right now. I just want you to respond with a simple prayer. You don't have to pray aloud. You just pray in your heart and say, God, I need you. I am sinful. I'm broken. And I'm tired of being horrible. I know you sent Jesus as the Lamb who takes away the sin of the world. That on the cross, His sacrifice paid for my sin. I claim that sacrifice for myself. I claim His death on the cross. And God, now help me to live my life for you. Pray that this morning. Scripture says, you have become a new creation. The old has passed away and the new has come. If you pray that this morning, I want you to do something for me. I don't want you to come down from or stand there or raise your hand. I don't want to embarrass you, but would you let me know if you prayed that for me today? You can fill out one of the orange cards in the seat in front of you, drop it in the offering plate. Just say, Matt, I prayed for you. Or you can call me, text me, or email me. Just let me know if you prayed that, because if you did, man, I want to celebrate with you. And I want to help you in this new journey that you started on. And I want to connect you with people that can help you as well. So please, let me know if you pray with them today. God, for the rest of us, for the season ticket holders, we look at the story of Noah and it's a warning to us. God, we pray that you help us to finish strong. It's our heart's desire. Because we've started so well and we followed you with all our hearts. God, keep us strong until the end, that we might bring glory to you in our death in our life. Lord, I thank you for today. I thank you so much for the opportunity to worship you, to come together and to love one another, to study your word and grow in it. And God, we thank you for Sundays. They're still our favorite days. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.